Well, good afternoon and welcome to this edition of Referee Corner here on IslandStats.com. I'm your host, Earl Basin, and joining me are members of the referee family, or the official family, that officiated the CONCACAF Gold Cup recently. And first of all, we want to introduce Gisette Kerr Wilson. We have O'Shea Nation and Caleb Wales. First of all, thank you very much for joining me this afternoon, guys. You just finished, or well, recently finished, somewhat getting back to normal of international football. I do want to congratulate Gisette, who became the first female as assistant referee in a Caribbean Cup semifinal, the match between Mexico and Canada. Gisette, congratulations on being nominated and actually doing the job that was asked of you. Getting that call or that appointment in a major tournament, what did it do for your confidence, for your, just what you do as a referee assistant?
Good afternoon, everyone. Are you hearing me?
Yes, we hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So being appointed to the semifinal, in a sense, it made me very confident knowing that I am a female and I am able to do a male semifinal game. So it put the females on a map to know that with all that's going on, we can do anything once we put our mind to it.
Yeah. Oh, we're joined as well by Ziegler. O'Shane, take us through that tournament only because we hadn't had a international event like that in one location where we're dealing with COVID, where we're dealing with the anxieties of everybody wanting to win and everything that's going around. So for you, how did you manage yourself in those situations?
During the whole tournament, it was important for us as individuals to take care of ourselves, to take care of our own well-being because the tournament was held in a bubble, and health is very important, especially in this time in the pandemic. So we had to take special care of ourselves. We had to abide by the principles or the protocols. We had to constantly wear a mask. We have to sanitize regularly. We had to test regularly. So operating in a bubble is not easy, but it is one that we had to adjusted to, and because we were able to adjust to that situation, it's just like in a game. There are many situations happening in a game, so you just have to be ready for every every situation. So even though it was in a bubble, first time working in a bubble, we were able to adjust, and we allowed to ensure that the tournament was a success by our own input or impact.
Yeah. Caleb, for you, when you get the call that, or you get the email that advises you that you're going to be taking part in this tournament, what's the first thing you think of with everything that's going on globally and you're heading to a major tournament?
Well, the first thing that came to mind was preparation, and more preparation. Even before I got the invite, I was thinking about what if I have a upcoming tournament. And for me, it was very difficult because in my country there wasn't any games for more than a year. So I had to be mentally preparing for the possibility of a game, as well as the usual physical training. You also need to be mentally prepared. So I've been running through my mind of all the mental tasks that I will have to do in the future, and in that I was mentally prepared.
Mm. And Ziegler, I guess I'll ask the same question. How did you take the news and obviously the new challenge of being somewhere else, facing what we would hope to be something of norm of football, but with all the other challenges going on around you?
Hello, good afternoon, everybody. Like my situation was similar like Caleb, because I didn't do any games like since the pandemic. And yeah, it's the new normal. You have to get adjusted to it. But I think everybody is right now accustomed to it, and it's the new way of football. The new way you have to every time you travel, you need to get a PCR test. Every time you're going back home, you need to do a COVID test, and you have to wear your mask. But it's still fun to be out there and doing some games, yeah, in the
Mm.
new normal.
OJ, what has it been like in your country where how you were able to prepare for the Go Cup?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me again, Earl. For us in
No
Jamaica, or
problem.
for me specifically, there were no football at the time, but we were still training, preparing physically, mentally, because it's more mental than anything else. To be locked down, on the new regime, you can't get to go about your social life the same. Even preparation was different. So it's more, it's more one-on-one training. You have to train alone, or maybe if you do train with someone, it's in a small group. So for us, or for me specifically, I train with Nicholas and Daniel, who were also going to the Gold Cup. They have been to the previous Gold Cup. So, it was more of me, trying to learn as much as possible, trying to get, the correct things done for the big moment.
Now, Gisette, for you, being amongst the teams, I know you would be not starstruck, but one of those things where you're in a new environment. Although the game's the same, the goal's the same, everything's the same. It's just being around at just a little faster pace. What was the target training you specifically done to prepare for this event, as you would have realized that maybe this would just be a tad bit faster at the international level?
But due to the pandemic and the lockdown, I hardly had any chance to train. Sorry. So it would be the same preparation as usual, same regime, go to training, work as hard as you can, try as much as possible to do high intensity training, knowing that you are going to do male fitness test along with or assessment. So training was the usual, but the difference is I had no field that I could train on, so I'd use something else to train. So I'd use indoor and try to do some strength training here and there. So yeah, that was it.
Mm. Caleb, what did you find most challenging as the tournament went on?
The most challenging thing, I mean, we're talking a lot about the pandemic,
Mm.
and we mentioned we have to do a lot of PCR testing, and I think there was an anxious feeling of knowing, you're going out there with a bunch of people. So I had some fears as to whether or not, the you can you can contract the virus. But we did take a lot of precautions. We got the vaccine, so we were prepared in that aspect. And I think for me, just the fear and the anxiety of that possibility was challenging for me.
Mm. And O'Sheen, for you, what stood out for you as the tournament went on, that would have been a concern? You got to unmute. There you
You're
go.
speaking generally or regarding the pandemic?
Generally.
Okay, for me, well, what stood out for me mostly was the fact that I was able to be at the Gold Cup and officiating. So to be there is an experience. To be appointed is an experience by itself. But being able to officiate in such a tournament, in such a high-profile tournament, is another story. So I mean, the journey to get there was very good, and it was something that it was a big moment for me. Also, getting there and being able to officiate was another standout moment for me. So, I mean, so to be at the Gold Cup and officiated, that was the big moment for me to actually do games with persons who have been to World Cups before or who have had many experience at this level. And Mark, it's my first Gold Cup, so it will always be etched somewhere in my mind. So definitely the biggest moment was to be at the Gold Cup.
Good, good. OJ, has there been any talk of football resuming in Jamaica?
We actually have football going on now. Football started
Oh,
at the week we left for the Gold Cup. The competition started. I think maybe 5 rounds a game played before we got back. So football is up and running. We're taking our steps as usual, baby steps first. So we started with the Premier League, and hopefully next we'll start with other competitions. Because this one is going successful thus far.
okay. So what rules are they using? Are they no fans? Are there limited amount of fans? What are the rules right now?
Presently, I don't think there are no fans presently, but I think they're working on getting maybe 50% capacity or something, of that nature. I think they're working on something of that nature. But this season, it's more than halfway through, so I think 2 rounds a game to go and then playoff, and
Oh,
that's
okay,
before the new
okay.
season.
Ziegler, when will or has football started where you are?
No, football didn't start yet. I hope maybe next year, but no football. Yeah, in my country. The only time I do games is when I get a appointment. Yeah.
Okay, all right. And Gisette, you will be soon heading off to the women's championship or the elite women's. You're going to an elite women's course.
Okay, yes, next week.
Sorry, next week.
Hmm.
Okay. What will you be trying to accomplish in this course, and what will it set you up to achieve?
First of all, I have to pass the male's fitness test because it is a requirement.
Okay.
So that's the first thing, and we'll see what happens after that.
Okay. Well, good luck. Good
Thank you.
luck. Zakari, you went to the Olympics. I'm trying to. I didn't. I went to one game and I was there. What was that like?
Yeah, it was another big experience. It was a nice moment doing a game at the Olympics with no spectators. Make it very special. Yeah, and
It was funny because the game I went to, I can't remember which game I went to, but it was just the players shouting at the officials and not nobody in the stand.
yeah,
But doing an Olympic game is pretty. I would imagine for the players, it's almost like going to a World Cup. But when you get selected to go to, I guess, one of the biggest stages of the country national event, getting a call up for that, how do you rate that achievement?
well, of course, when I got a phone call from the referee, he say, "Hey, you know where we're going?" And then I say, "Yeah, we're going to the Gold Cup." Then he say, "No, we are going to the Olympics." So I went and I checked my mail. I still couldn't believe it, but first I had to thank God because God is the one that gives you the opportunity. But I still couldn't believe till the day I left from the Gold Cup to the Olympics. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
How long was your wait in the airport? Because mine was 3 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh no, it was not that long. Oh no, in Japan, yeah, it was
In
like
Japan.
5 hours, 7 hours. Yeah, to get out.
Two
It was
games
a
were
hell of a,
played.
yeah, yeah. It was very long.
Yeah. So Shane, you're saying that this was your first Gold Cup. Um, once you got your feet wet and you had your first game, did football feel normal for you after that?
I mean, having gotten over the first game, it would have given you a greater sense of belief, of course. So you you get that sense of what to do and how to do in a type of game like that. So
Mm.
it boosted my confidence. You know, it gave me a different level of belief to show that I can actually execute at the highest level, which was the Gold Cup. So for me, well, it didn't get easier, but it gave me the belief, an extra self belief that I'm able to perform at this level, of course.
Mm. And what about you, Caleb? Once that first game was under the belt, did you feel a little more relaxed that this was a sense of normalcy?
Well, yeah, for me, as I mentioned, not doing a game for a year was difficult. So getting back into the routine of regular games was good, and it would have started from even before World Cup. We would have gone to the Nation League, so I would have gotten a game there, and then I would have done some amateur games in USA. So what happened is I actually stayed out of my country from May till August. So while I was out of the country, I was able to do some games to get back into the groove.
Mm.
Now, coming into Gold Cup, my mentality was to be ready, always be prepared for anything. And from the time I got the first game, I got the rhythm and the confidence to keep pushing and going forward until I got my second and third, and eventually I got 5 games. So that I felt like I had the momentum going from the first game and carried it all the way to the end.
Mm. OJ, for you, as the tournament wore on, how did you feel your fitness played into not having much time to prepare in the game sense? You could do as much training as you want, but when you get to a game sense, how did you think your fitness level was as it progressed?
My fitness level was good, but in terms of game practice was what was missing a bit. Of course, I was doing some games before. I think I did a Champion League game before in Mexico before I actually went to the Gold Cup. We had 2 weeks of training prior to. We also had the pre-course in Guatemala, I think, Guatemala, and then we had 2 weeks of training in the US in Dallas before the actual Gold Cup. So getting in the game, fitness was up. Just that being this my first Gold Cup, the first game you just wanted you wanted to do well. You never wanted to mess up. So it was more of some nerve. You wanted to get the first one out the way and to see what happened. After the first one, it was like come on, you're in the rhythm now. You're here to stay. You have to prove your point. So yeah, that's it.
Mm. Gisette, what was that first game like for you? I know everybody talks about the semifinal, but what was the first game like for you?
The first game at the Gold Cup.
No, I was asking Gisette. Sorry.
Sorry.
All right.
Well, my first game was the prelim game, so it was actually normal. It felt like the games that I do in Jamaica. So it was not that challenging. Even though it was humid, it was not that challenging. But doing an actual Gold Cup game, I was very, 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 very nervous going into that Gold Cup game. So after the prelim, and I said that all right, if these teams can make it to the Gold Cup, then maybe the teams that are actually doing it's not so bad. So just go into the game with confidence and just execute as you know how to. And then after that, I was okay.
Mm, mm. And the fact that they had those prelim games, what was it, 4 games, 3 or 4 games per group, just prior to the Gold Cup starting. How did that play out for you, Ziegler?
Yeah, the prelim game was, of course, it came at a good moment, especially for the guys from the Caribbean because we didn't have a lot of game rhythm. So it was a good practice, a good test to get to the Gold Cup, and I think it helped us a lot, especially when I see like guys like Jasset, Caleb, they did semifinals. OJ did 2 games or 3 games. Ocean even, I saw the game. So I think it really helped us, and I think in the future look bright for the guys from the Caribbean. But yeah, that's what I
Mm,
think the prelim games was a good help. Yeah.
right. Now, just like players, I guess officials have dreams as well, and one of the dreams will be the stepping stone of the Gold Cup for you guys, and then on to the World Cup. But um, was it what you thought it would be, O'Shane, when once you arrived at the Gold Cup?
All right. In terms of my expectations, I mean, technically this was my second Gold Cup, but my first one in which I'm whistling in. So I've been
Hmm.
around the guys 2 years ago, and I know what's expected and the level that is expected to be relevant at this level. So my expectation was high. I knew what was expected. I know that I had to go and I had to prove myself, prove why I'm here, because it is very competitive. It's just like any aspect in life. It is very, very competitive. And you just want to minimize the mistake as much as possible. And you want to get the big things right and be consistent as much as possible. So expectations was high. I wanted to do a minimum of 2 games in terms of whistle. I think I would have met that objective because I did one preliminary game. Even though persons talk about the preliminary game as not being so, but I think it was a big game. It doesn't matter if it is preliminary or I am at the Gold Cup, I am officiating. It doesn't matter. So the preliminary game was important because if I had messed up in the prelim game, probably I would have gone on before the Gold Cup actually started. So it is very important, and that was the mentality going in. It doesn't matter if it's prelim, that is my final. I am going to take care of it as much as possible. So expectations were high. I, I, as I said, I took my game, the preliminary game, very, very serious, and that's the type of mentality that we're supposed to use going forward in all our games. All games are important, so expectations were high, and I'm happy to be a part of the experience, of course.
Now, O'Shane said something that I think I need to ask everyone because it it is a competition because you're on show for your next game kind of thing. You're kind of auditioning to stay in the tournament, just like teams are playing to stay in the tournament. So what what goes through your mind as you're officiating to ensure that you stay as mentally and physically focused on the 90 minutes that is in front of you, and you're not thinking past that or trying to make up for a mistake. And I'll start with you. I'll start with you, Gisette.
Well, I think in the game, my mentality, I was saying to myself, you cannot mess up. This is actually not the first quote unquote Gold Cup game. So you need a Gold Cup game. So you need to go out there. You need to run as hard as you can. You need to be in line. You need to show them that you are here and there is a reason why you're here, and it is not because of favoritism that you worked to be here, and then you need to show them that this is the reason. So I went on the field and I tried to put everything on the field to let them know that, hey, I'm a female, and not because I'm a female I can do what the males do and do it as best as they can. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Caleb? Same question.
Yeah, for me, the most important thing is to treat every game as important. So I know O'Shea mentioned the prelim games and whether it counts or not. I counted every game, included the prelim game. So I did 5 games, one prelim and four, and I treated every game as if it was a final. Every game I did was my final, so that I have that mentality to get the momentum to carry it forward all the way. And once I get one game going, as you said, it's like riding a bike. You get the rhythm, you get the momentum. As just I say, you have to keep working hard, keep staying in line, get the offside decisions correct, help the referee to the best of your ability, and from there you were able to get more and more. going forward.
What about you, OJ?
For me, the same. I did the very first prelim game with O'Shane and Jacette, and I think I said to them that this is my World Cup final. Not the prelim Gold Cup, but this is my World Cup final. If I can take care of this one, then I'll show that hey, I belong. And I did well in the first game, and I got an actual Gold Cup game, and I think I did exceptionally well. It was a difficult game, and of course I did well, and I think I did what was required of me. So I think I belong.
All right, and Ziegler?
Yes, for me it's similar. And always before a game, I say, hey, CONCACAF or FIFA, they ask for 90 minutes. They bring me to this country for 90 minutes, so let me give my full 90 minutes to them. And yeah, that's how I go. That's my mentality. Yeah.
Mm. Now, Shane, how long have you been officiating in the middle? Did we lose him? Did Okay, I'll come back to him. Gisette, O'Shane, did you hear me? Okay, he's having problems. Gisette, what type of official, especially when you're
I
when
am
you're on
not
the
hearing
line,
you.
what's that? Can you hear me, O'Shane? Okay, I'll continue on. Gisette, what type of official do you like in the middle of one of your games as a referee? Someone who's a kind of a talker, a kind of I would say a player's referee. When I say a player's referee, tends to lean on the side of the players and give them chances and so forth. Or do you like someone who's just straight regimental? You blow the whistle, yellow card, red card. I'm not going to tolerate no nonsense today.
That's a trick question. Well, for me, it doesn't matter. Everybody has different personalities, so it
Hmm.
is for me to work with, to know the referee that I'm working with, know their personality, know what they like and what they don't like, and when we go in the game, we work together to execute so that at the end of the game, the right calls are made or the right decisions are made. So there's no preference.
For you.
Yeah.
I would love to hear these other answers. So, Zing, I'm going to go with you. Well, how would you describe what you would like as an official?
No, I don't really. For me, the most important thing is just like just had say. Everybody got different personality. Most important thing, let's get the correct calls when we get home. Let's get home safely. So for me, the most important thing, just do the right thing. Yeah, because everybody
Okay.
got his own skills, own way of refereeing. Like Nation is over there. You got Pachi. They are two different referees. They got different
Right.
personalities. But at the end of the day, that's what their personality make them big. Them personality bring them to the Gold Cup. So everybody is different. Yeah.
Well, that was one of the reasons why I asked, because not every referee is the same, and like you say, they have different personalities. They have different styles of officiating, how they feel comfortable in making sure they handle situations. But as part of a team, you have to adjust to the person in the middle, because they change often, where you have to kind of mash your abilities with what's going on in the middle, kind of thing. So, Caleb, how do you adjust to that?
Well, to answer the question of what referee I would like, for me, the referee is the leader of the team. So the referee has to be the one who is able to take control. So I like that a referee who's able to control the game using his personality, as they mentioned. But the most important thing is that referee has to be in charge and be able to communicate well, have good teamwork. And my way of adjusting to that would be maybe I will have to take on my role and support where I could support. And if I need to, I will be able to talk and maybe motivate him if maybe he's down or maybe he needs to. If he's doing a good job, give him a compliment, just to keep that camaraderie and that teamwork. Because in the end, the most important thing for the referee team is teamwork, and they have to all work together and come together as one team.
Okay. OJ?
For me, it's a bit of what they said, but a little bit different. We all, as referees, especially going to the Gold Cup, we were taught the very same thing. This is yellow card, this is red card. There are things that you can, flex a bit. There are things that you cannot flex. So specifically for the Gold Cup, when I'm in the Gold Cup and I see something that, hey, I remember, in the classroom, this is a must yellow. I see yellow as well. The referee see yellow, good. Now, in terms of referee personality, have different style, have different personality style. But the good thing is, it's not the same. It's not static. It's dynamic. So the referee may give you a smile now, then a serious face later or frown. That for me is perfect, along with the tools, the other tools that he has to manage the game, which also includes the yellow and red card. Because there are times when the card need to come and not managing, because this is not something to verbally manage, but to manage with a yellow or red card. So for me, it's about finding that referee with a balance, and I think all the referees have a balance. Once you're at the Gold Cup, they know when it's time for the card, and when it's time, to use their personality to manage a player. If, for example, I think a card, it's always good of you to give your opinion. Hey, I think this. What do you think? It's always good to communicate. If he needs half of the information, and you say, hey, I think yellow, then puzzle fix. It's teamwork. So a bit of what they said plus what I added for me. At lower level games, it's a little bit different, because at the international level, CONCACAF and FIFA level, your next game could be your last game. So you have to take it seriously. You have to ensure that once there's something that you see, hey, as long as the correct decision is made, you're good. But at the local level, sometimes you all referees to make mistakes so they can learn. You can't be, because you may know a bit more than the actual referee in the middle, but you try not to impose yourself too much on the game. You communicate as best as possible and allow them to take charge. At the international level, the same, but if you see where something is going wrong, hey, you're not a linesman, you're an assistant referee, so you need to assist.
Yeah. They identified that as they made that name change, because you are kind of the assistant to the referee and not just a linesman. So I'm glad they clarified that. But let me ask, because everybody has aspirations of doing the biggest event in the world of football, which is the World Cup. But if you had a choice to officiate outside of the Caribbean, what league would it be and why? And I'll start with you, Caleb.
That's a interesting question. I will take almost any league. Once there's football, I mean, there's more football than is going on in Trinidad right now. So I will take almost any league. I like what they're doing in MLS and Liga MX. It's blowing up. It's becoming very competitive, becoming very popular. I also like what is done in top leagues in Europe and even the unknown leagues. I like what is being done elsewhere. So I will take almost any league once there's that competitive spirit, that drive. I mean, now there's no football in Trinidad, so hopefully we could get back football. But I would love to do. I just like that competitiveness. Once it's not stale and monotonous, and it gives
What?
the referee that energy as well.
Yeah. What about you, Ziegler? Where would that be? What league would it be?
Jamaican League, so I can do games with Jasset, OJ, Nation. Yeah, yeah, and it's not so far from home. Yeah.
And what about you, Jay?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna be like the other guys and say, Jamaican League or anywhere. I would really love to officiate in the English Premier League if given the opportunity. My friends always say, hopefully one day we'll see you in the EPL, but hey, I know I'm not going to the EPL. It's just in our region, but it would be a pleasure, to officiate in the EPL, even for one half of the game. I'd love that experience. It's the big league in the world. I'd love to be there. Trust me.
If one of the officials go down and you're in the stands, you put your hand up real quick. Gisette?
Well, I'll go with Caleb. For me, anywhere there's competition, once it is very competitive, and I like a challenge. So if it is challenging, then yes, you can send me anywhere. Once good football is playing and I'll have a challenge, then no problem for me.
Mm, okay, all right. Now we have the World Cup qualifiers coming up, both for men and women in the very near future. Given the opportunity to officiate again, how do you guys feel when you do get these call ups for these tournaments? Because you would be considered the best in the region in order to do these things. So how does that make you feel? We'll start with you, Ziegler.
Well, if you get an appointment, you feel happy because, yeah, happy and lucky because there are a lot of referees are hoping to get an appointment. And if you get selected by the people that are making the appointment, that means they trust you and they see something in you. So I feel happy, and I know I get the appointment. I can let the people down that give me the opportunity. So it's not easy, but you're a FIFA assistant referee or a FIFA referee, and all you want to do is to do games and go to the big stage, to the higher level. So that's what you're training for. Yeah, it's like a payback. Yeah.
Hmm.
A reward, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. OJ?
For me, it's a new experience, a new feeling. This is the final round of the World Cup qualifiers. If I should get a call to go to one, or when I get the call, it feels like, hey, this is the World Cup. It's not the qualifiers. This is the World Cup. It always feels like the World Cup. The teams are playing to go to the World Cup. Who to tell if the game you're going to be doing if that team is going to the World Cup? I did a game with two World Cup teams. I can say that if both teams made it to the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always about trying to get the first call out the way. Get the first call out the way. You get your confidence, and then you try to execute as best as possible. Once you do that, the next call could be, hey, you're going to the World Cup.
Yeah. Caleb?
For me, it's a huge honor and responsibility to be appointed to games of this level. I also feel like I'm not just representing myself, I'm representing all my other colleagues, whether it be in my country or the Caribbean, or even my friends and family who are just tuning in and watching on TV. I feel like I'm representing them all, especially as I will have shared this same feeling as being the only Trinidad referee in the Gold Cup. I felt like I had that responsibility to represent well so that I could pave the way for more Trinidad referees, maybe more Caribbean referees, and ultimately more CONCACAF referees to do games of higher level. So it's always an honor and a privilege for me, and I feel honored to be appointed to games of that level.
And Gisette?
All right. If I were to be called for a World Cup qualifier game, it would mean a lot. I would be maybe overwhelmed, full with joy, because there's a lot of females out there that are training as hard as possible to get games to show what their talents and what they are made of. So if I were to be given the opportunity, then it means that they would have seen something and they would have entrusted me to go out there and to execute to the best of my ability, so that at the end of the game, the decision or the outcome is not paid on the referee's decision in the game. And then again, I would be representing all the females in the Caribbean, or all the persons in the Caribbean that are not able to be on a particular game, or who have not been appointed to a particular game, so that we tell them that, hey, even though we are from the Caribbean, we are able to do what even the Central Americans are doing and all the other persons are doing. So we are here, and you should look at us because we have the ability to do what everybody else is doing.
Well, I'm going to quickly ask you again, Gisette. Since the Gold Cup was over, you would have been able to assess what you've done to prepare for it. So, what has your training regimen been like since it's been over to ensure that you?
Oh, Lord. As, as I said before, the pandemic, so we have days that we have total lockdown, no movement at all in Jamaica. So we have
Boy.
weekends where we cannot move from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and the other week is the same. And then the other week you have a Sunday that we cannot move at all. And then due to the fact that the hurricanes have been passing, so we have been having a lot of rains, so the fields are flooded. So I have not been able to train as I would have wanted. And knowing that I have a course coming up that I have to do a fitness test, I am just relying on God to give me the strength to be able to pass that test, because it is mostly indoors, so I cannot do any running. So even the physical running that I would have to do is the games that I am appointed to on the weekend before the lockdown. But during the week, it is a challenge because you have curfew, so you have a particular time where you cannot be on the road, and with that you have the facilities being closed at a particular time, so it is difficult to train. But trying to use the indoor bit so that I can at least be at a level when I go to the course to be able to pass that test.
Mm. And Caleb, what have you been able to do since returning?
Well, I have been fortunate. I mean, we are still under curfew, and we have a state of emergency. But I'm be fortunate because just before I came back, they allowed outdoor activities again. So I am able to venture outside, run on a field, run on a park. The weather is also variable. It's rainy and dry. So I've been training on parks and fields, whatever is available, whether it be wet and muddy, if I have to run through a puddle of water. But I try not to let anything stop me. I also have, because of since the pandemic, I have brought home equipment so I could train at home as well, whether it be in my Porsche or wherever, the backyard, wherever space I have, I will make use of it and get as much training as possible.
Okay. And OJ?
Uh, I took some time off when I got home just to recoup, because you don't want to be at your highest all the time. You want to take a break and then you go again. So I took some time off and then I resumed training. Uh, I have a field maybe a little 30 meter, the most, maybe 5 minutes away from me. So even during lockdown, I get up from 5:30 sometimes and I go out, get some training in, and by 7 o'clock I'm heading home. So I have been doing enough to maintain my fitness to pass the test, to do a game, whatever is required of me. I also
Zeke?
train at home, if I can't get to go out. But I
Oh,
definitely.
okay. Definitely. Ziegler, are you frozen? I
Yeah,
know.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, since I came back, training a lot because I'm preparing myself for the. We have a MA course coming up, so we're gonna do the fitness test, I think, and yeah, we also have some classroom sessions with the federation over here. So that's since I came a lot of football, and even my wife, she is a little bit mad because she say, "Hey, you didn't take the time off." But yeah, I say, yeah, after the MA course, I think I will take the time off. Yeah, I have to run the fitness test to make sure I will be on the FIFA list next year. Yeah,
There you go. There you go. We always got to make sure that is accomplished in order to keep that foot on the pedal there too. Well, I know you guys are in the lines of the hurricane, so it's only making it even more challenging with the pandemic and hurricanes and wet weather and all. But how 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 has mentally Gisette, after being out officiating, although in a bubble in a tournament, getting somewhat normalcy, and now back in an environment of a lockdown, how has that affected you mentally? Because now you kind of, I don't want to say imprisoned, but similar to that, isn't it?
I'm in prison because because I cannot go anywhere. So I am in prison. So mentally, I think when this all started, I had to change my mindset in order to be able to cope with everything. And being that I have to work from home, I had to switch caps. So I am used to being a locked up, so it did not affect me that much, being that I was away and I was able to move around, and then I am home and I have to be just one place for how many days now? A couple of, probably a couple months, couple of weeks now. So I just have to turn the switch on and off, because if I don't, then it would probably affect me very much.
Yeah. I'll ask your comrade OJ, how has that mentally? How have you been affected by it?
To be honest, early out in the pandemic, it was really bad. I'm somebody who is always out and about. I don't like to be down, so it was difficult at first. But from I was in high school, I was taught, hey, that guess what, you need to be able to adapt to situations. So over time, I'm able to adjust and I'm able to cope fully. I mean, it's the way of life. It's the norm now. So it does not affect me as much as just it. But if I'm not able to even go shopping or go anywhere, that is when it's difficult. So for me, it's a long weekend now. So the weekend for me starts on a Friday and ends, or no, it starts on a Sunday and ends on a Wednesday for me.
A lockdown. What about you, Ziegler? How have you been coping on the mental side of all of this since being back?
well, since being back at home, we only have a lockdown in the night from 9 o'clock, but it's not really a lockdown anymore. So for me, life is just normal again. So I don't see no effects. For me, it's just normal life. I can do whatever I want if I say, hey, I'm going to train. The only thing what I can't do is doing games in my country. So that's the
Mm,
biggest test right now. But further from that, if I want to go out to drink something, or I want to go out, I want to go train, yeah, it's open. Yeah. So I just adjust to the time, the
mm,
system. Yeah.
yeah. Caleb?
Yeah, it's tough being in isolation, seeing the same four walls every day. I've been through it for a year and a half, so I was used to it, and then I got 3 months of freedom, and now I'm back in my prison cell, able to take daily walks outside and then back inside. But I think mentally, just to make light of it, try to find things you enjoy doing, outside of just training and thing. I guess talk to friends, talk to family, and basically try to enjoy everything, whether it be prison life or football. Try to enjoy.
Mm. Well, I want to introduce or bring in your good friend, the head of refereeing in Bermuda, Mr. Cranston Williams. Mr. Williams, I know you have some congratulations to give to these folks as you get to know them personally as leaders in our region of officiating. Um, but and you would consider them friends of yours as well because you pick up the phone and call them and they quickly respond. So anything to say to this group? It's unfortunate that
Yeah,
O'Shane was having internet problems, but yeah.
uh, yeah. On behalf of the Bermuda Football Association, I just want to congratulate all of you for your exploits at the World Cup. I must say, I called Mr. Bays and I said, "Look at this, Bays. All these people have been on your show." I said, "Isn't that amazing?" So I think with the exception of Caleb, but I reached out to Danny and he gave me Caleb's information, so he accepted immediately. So I was like, "Okay, want a good back." And Mr. Ziegler, congratulations on being, if I'm correct, were you the only Caribbean official at the Olympics? If I'm correct, Ziegler, you're the only one, right? Can you hear me, Ziegler?
I think he's muted.
Uh,
No, come again. It was a little bit
Were you
choppy.
the only Caribbean official at the Olympics?
Were you the only Caribbean official at the Olympics?
Yes, the previous Olympic, yes.
Right. So congratulations for that.
No, I
The set
think
made
this
history.
Olympic, yeah, the 2021 Olympic. Yeah, yeah. Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah.
All right. And Josette made history. Well, actually, Josette had a game. I think it was Josette, Archie, and was Nation was before. Was OJ the other person? Was it Mexico, Canada, I
I
believe?
I I,
And to
I
see
was
them
the
on the field.
Errol. I
No,
was
you
the
were
other
the other one.
Errol.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a tough game. And to see Josette stand up like she was one of the boys, I was like making all this noise. Look at this. So yeah, it was for me really, really, heartwarming to see all of you. I hope that Bermuda gets there soon. We have a ways to go, but I'm hoping that you guys keep coming on the shows can inspire others. So I just want to say congratulations, OJ, you as well. Hopefully if things settle down, I can invite you guys come over and do some games for us. But I know you're very busy people with the World Cup and all different tournaments, so coming to Bermuda might not quite be an option. We'll see what happens.
Bermuda could come first.
So that's what I wanted to say. Keep striving, and I hope to see you guys at a World Cup in the near future.
Yeah. And that's my sentiments as well, guys. I want to encourage you to keep striving, continue on the path that you've been on, and just know that these chats that we have here are inspiring our young people in Bermuda to want to achieve the goals in which you've already achieved, and just knowing that they can listen to you, tell your story, tell your challenges, speak about the mental part of the game as well as the physical part of the game. That they may be going through it on a smaller scale or even a higher scale, but knowing that the challenges is not just theirs, that you've actually gone through it as well, and look where you've gotten in your career as an official. So I would encourage you guys to continue on. Keep inspiring the people in your country. You're inspiring the people in the region as well. And I want to wish you all the very best over the next few years as we have a World Cup in 2022. We have the qualifiers getting ready to start. So, especially for the women, there's an opportunities there. And then we have the under 19. Is it the under 19 World Cup? Under 21 World Cup soon?
On the 20th.
Under 20. So,
Mhm.
anything's possible. Anything is possible. So again, I want to say thank you very much. Did you have anything else, Mr. Williams?
Yes, I was gonna say that I know Josette, Odette, Stephanie, and who's the other one? Princess. They've been shortlisted for the Women's World Cup. So I'm a man that likes to aim high. I know I'm not your head of refereeing. However, I fully expect to see that list with all four of your names on, as well as you, Mr. Ziegler. Just throwing it out there. That's all I
Pressure.
have to say.
You like putting pressure, man. Well, I want to thank you again all. Enjoy your evening. Hopefully the lockdowns and football kind of resume rather quickly and you guys can get back to some normalcy within your country. I know Ziegler said, some things are really normal already, but for others, hopefully these hurricanes do not do too much damage and everyone stays safe. And, we're going to have our moments, I'm pretty sure, sometime soon as well over here in Bermuda. So, again, good luck, stay safe, and we'll chat soon, okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for having us.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye bye.